All right, hi my friends. This week our story that we're going to read is called an informational text. And an informational text tells us about make-believe people and events, but it also includes some real facts about the world, about the real world, okay? So this week our story, our informational fiction story is called This is the Way We Go to School. And if you look at the pictures on the front page, it seems to me that it's going to be talking about maybe how do children around the world go to school. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to be finding out that children all around the world go to school very different ways from the way we do, okay? All right, so our story this week is called This is the Way We Go to School. I'm going to read and then I'll turn it to you, okay? 1 by 1 or 2 by 2, come along, it's fun to do. Ellen takes it nice and slow, time to watch the flowers grow. So how does Ellen go to school? She walks, right? What do you think that might mean about where she lives and her school? If she can walk to it. Means that she's probably close, right? Liz and Larry, as a rule, wear their jogging shoes to school. But at 20 minutes past, roller skates are twice as fast. So sometimes they run, but other times they take their roller skates. And the fastest way by far is by school bus or by car. Jenny, Jerry, Pete, and Perry ride the Staten Island Ferry. Cable cars take Jack and Jill up the hill and down the hill. Michael and his friend Miguel see the rooftops from the L. Remember, that's that elevated train we talked about? Horse and buggy rides, it's plain, start the day for Jack and Jane. And in Philly, Mitch and Molly go to school by trackless trolley. Bianco, Beppo, and Benedito ride across and ride aboard the Vaporetto. And I have to tell you, 2 years ago when we were in Venice, Patrick Cormick, Mr. Rooney, and I, we went on a Vaporetto, which is like, they don't have buses in Venice because it's all water. It's canals full of water, so you have to take little boats back and forth and around, and they're called a Vaporetto. So I remember I had always read this story to kindergarten, and then when we went to Venice, I got to ride one, and I was like, I'm in the story. Bundled up against the breeze, Niles and Solveig go on skis. So what can we tell about maybe where they live, the weather? It's probably cold, right? Because there's snow. Palm trees help keep Ahmad cool on his sunny walk to school. Mira takes time out to play. School's a hop and skip away. So she has time to play on her way to school. So that must mean that maybe she might live very close to school. And watch Sepp and Heidi sail through the air from peak to vale. Akini leaves for school by train far across the mountain train. So this one has to take a cable and this one has to take a train. I wonder where they might. Kay and Faye and Flo and Joe go to school by radio. Bicycles, bring May and Ling through the traffic of Nanjing. And beneath the dripping sky, Ram is riding high and dry. William comes ashore by boat, counting seagulls while afloat. And there's that double-decker bus. Luz prefers the countryside. Carlos takes the town in stride. And the famous Metro line suits Igor and Ilyana fine. Go by copter, by skidoo. Somewhere, sometimes, some kids do. You come too, we'll look for you. All right, so in our story this week, this is the way we go to school. The children are going to school all different kinds of ways all around the world, right? Okay. I want you to be thinking about for tomorrow, which way would be the most fun way, do you think, to go by school? We're going to reread the story, to go to school. We're going to reread the story again tomorrow, and we're going to write about which way we think would be the most fun to go to school. So if you can think back to the story today, if one really stuck out, go ahead and think about that for tomorrow. We're going to write that tomorrow. But today you can start to think about, you know, sometimes I'll tell you when you go out to recess, think about that. Well, I want you to be thinking about from the story, what do you think would be one of the most fun ways to go to school? What I want you to also be thinking about is, what's the way you usually go to school? How do you usually go to school? So do you go by car? Do you go by bus? Do you walk? Some people might take a train. So think about, how do you go to school? And do you know of anyone in school that goes to school by one of these ways in another part of the world? Do you know anybody somewhere in another part of the world that might go to school one of those ways? Okay? All right, so now what I want you to do is on Flipgrid, you're not going to write anything today. You're just going to share why you drew the conclusion that you did for this question. That means you used what you know, and you used from our story to come up with an answer for this question. Listen very carefully to my question, okay? All right, so if I look at page, I have to find my page. Okay, on this page it says, Kay and Faye and Flo and Joe go to school by radio, okay? These kids go to school by radio. On the very next page, they talk about how bicycles bring Mei and Ling through the traffic of Nanjing, okay? So if I look at these two pages in my story, why do you think the children on page 26 have to use a radio to go to school? And why do the children on page 27 ride their bikes to school? Using what we know about school and how we go to school and what we're listening to in the story, why would this group of children be going to school by radio, but this group of children could go to school on their bicycles? On Flipgrid, I would like you to tell me what conclusion, what answer you thought up using what you know about how we go to school and what we read in the story, why this group of children would go to school by radio, but this group of children can get to school on their bicycles. So I'm looking forward to hearing the conclusion you drew of how and why one goes to school by radio and the other is able to ride their bicycles to school. All right, I'll see you on Flipgrid and I'll be waiting to hear your answers. All right, good job, friends.